Everybody, welcome to Mat Men. This is a very special Mat Men. We're joined by a good friend of the show's now, second time on, Rocky Romero, New Japan Pro Wrestling star from Talking Shop, the return of Talking Shop. We have so much to talk about. I'm also joined by Rich, of course. Rich, how are you?
Hello. Hi.
Rocky.
I'm good. How are you?
Rocky's here. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing good. I mean, a lot of interviews in the last couple of days, and it's kind of all a blur. But I mean, we're counting down to the show, Talking Shop A Mania, first pay per view ever, live from Gallows' backyard. Well, live, pre-tape live.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. It's available on Fight, obviously, August 1st, 9 p.m. East. You can buy it, $14.99 on Fight. This is going to be very interesting. So I want to talk to you about how this kind of got put together and the concept of this, because it's very, I find it very unique considering they just got, I guess, freed off their contracts. Now they have the opportunity to do, essentially whatever they want in a possible way. You're involved with it, obviously, which is great to see you guys back together on this front. I want to know, like, conceptually, how did this get put together?
Like the day it was either the day of the next day that they got fired. It was kind of like, hey, what's up? Are you guys okay? What's going on? And then it was like he was like, guys, I've decided I'm doing a fucking pay-per-view in my backyard, and you guys are either in or you're out. And we're like, what are you talking about? And then it just kind of snowballed from there, and he kind of told us his idea if he wanted to do a boneyard match. And we were like, what the fuck is a boneyard match? and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then we kind of like, okay, cool. This is going to be like just a fun, crazy pay-per-view from the mind of Gallows. And well, of course, man, we're in. We'll support you. And obviously, we're business partners with Talking Shop. And let's just go all out. And then the pandemic got worse. And then it got better, we thought, right? And then it got worse. And then the week that we were going to shoot it, it just got worse, especially in the South where he lives in Atlanta. So that was a little crazy, but somehow we made it happen, and nobody got sick, and we took it really seriously. His wife is a registered nurse, so she was doing temperature checks every day on the property. Wow. And checking on everybody. Yes, we had a whole protocol. So I mean, it was like a real pay-per-view. It's crazy. I don't know.
And the card is actually really impressive to see. Right? The card, the matches, the people.
That's
right?
Funny.
Would you call it? What would you call it?
I don't know.
Listen, you got Ravens Flock and you got Enzo Amore. I mean,
we can say the roster. The roster.
The roster is stacked. I don't know as far as what you guys are going to do on this, but the roster looks really. I mean, dude, you got Johnny Swinger, you got Teddy Long. I'm very excited to see this. When I saw this, I was like, my God, I gotta text Rocky and see if he can come on to talk about this. This is a new front for all of you guys, right? I mean, traditionally, it's a very uniformed. I guess. Listen, I'm friends with many guys in the business. It's uniformed and it's not. And now everything is so uncertain on what the protocol is, what you can do, what you can't do. As far as you go, how has it been for you the last couple months with New Japan and everything else that you've been doing, with kind of just pausing the momentum of everything going on?
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there, it was nice to have a break, for sure, and kind of let the body kind of rest. And I've been going at it, like being on tour or something, probably since like 2006 was the last time I got seriously injured. So I had like 3 months off. I didn't even have very long off when I got injured. And so since 2006, so like, I don't know, for me, it was extremely refreshing. Especially in the beginning, but then of course, me, I get bored. So then, I started writing music, and then I started working on a music project, and then I got done with that. And then it was like, oh, what else can I do? And then Talking Shop, then the guys got released, and then we just started focusing on Talking Shop, and then I ended up getting like way busier than I was before the pandemic. And then I was like, what, but from my house, which was even crazier. So, but like long days, like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., like all day, just doing stuff and working on stuff. But it's been great. At least it's been afforded me the opportunity to do something like this, Talking Shop A Mania, a pay-per-view, and something that I wouldn't normally do or have the time to do. And I'm fortunate for that. And then everybody's going to see it this Saturday. I mean, and it's madness. This thing is crazy.
Yeah, I'm excited for it for sure. As far as a podcast goes, putting that back together, it was I mean, you guys were doing it actually prior to, I guess, the podcast boom of professional wrestlers entering this field. You guys started that podcast way before. I mean, what year was it? I remember listening to it. I mean, God, so many years ago.
2013 or something, maybe.
So this was way before the boom. And obviously content changes, people change, people mature. How's it been getting the gang back together for this? Because it's a different approach now, right? Because it's more, as far as restrictions go with Gallows and Anderson and you, it's a little bit different at this point.
Right. No, it's definitely different. I think what's cool though is like the game was kind of already got set up and figured out, So like when we were doing it, it was still kind of the Wild West. It was like, okay, well, we're doing this, and like, why are we doing this? Like, and then like, we didn't know. Besides just putting the content out, there was no like reciprocation of like of like people who want you to sell ads or to hype pro wrestling tees or whatever. Because I mean, I think pro wrestling tees was either in, I don't even know if it was around. It might have been in the infancy of it.
There definitely wasn't any Blue Chew, I'll tell you that.
There was no Blue Chew, that's for sure. And so or Manscaped or anything. So yeah, I mean, so it's kind of cool that the landscape kind of changed and people kind of figured it out, because we kind of walked into it pretty easily. And then, it was cool to see that like the people who used to watch our show or listen to our show, they actually came back and they were excited for it. And then all of a sudden, this new crop of fans, because after the guys did Talking Shop on Jericho's podcast, that really like gave a brand new audience, and those did super well for Jericho. So I don't know. It was cool to walk in, and especially for me, because people who knew them from Jericho's podcast, they didn't know who Rocky was. So, I got introduced to a brand new, group of people, WWE fans and old school wrestling fans, So it's all been gravy, dude. It's been cool. It's been cool. The ride has been cool. I'm glad that we brought it back at the time that we did, because that was only about a month before the guys got released.
Yeah.
Wow. It seems like all this stuff is almost like not a blessing in disguise, but there's definitely a lot of silver linings with what's going on in the world, and then like just people's creative outputs. Do you feel like as a whole, as a wrestler, is something like this better for your mind and body, because now you get to rest and concentrate on other things?
No, definitely. I mean, like I've said, I did a music project. I did that seems like so long ago, and it was just like 4 or 5 months ago. And I did an EP, but I haven't released the whole thing. But I will. I plan on doing it when I get it. Now I'm too busy to finish, like completely finish it. So maybe after this pay-per-view comes out, and then I don't know. And then New Japan, stuff just started back up with we did the Lions Break Collision shows. And those, I don't know if you guys check those out there on New Japan World and Fight TV. There's just really simple, laid out professional wrestling shows, 2 matches, on each Friday night, and really simple backstage interviews. I mean, it's just a complete professional wrestling show without all the extra frills and things that sometimes you don't need. So
I think for a lot of wrestling fans, the last couple big New Japan shows, obviously we saw a tremendous title change that a lot of people were not expecting. But seeing a live crowd there kind of changed things a little bit. It was probably one of the most normal things I watched on TV. which is crazy to say to professional wrestling. Is one of the most normal things I watch. But it really, watching it, and you saw the crowd, and they were into it. You know, obviously they weren't yelling and screaming, they were clapping. But while watching that and being around that and hearing about that, what is that? Do you feel that we're getting closer to this moment where, you know, North America, maybe we could have a live crowd? I mean, obviously it all depends on the numbers, but I felt it to be very normal, and they did a great job at making this safe for everybody.
No, definitely. I hope that we are. I think it's still going to be a while. It'll probably be at least 6 months, maybe minimum. Maybe more. But I think that either way, it's a step in the right direction, right? And like you said, like that normalcy feels good to see it. Like, oh, hey, I'm tuning into New Japan today, and like there's people there. That's pretty cool. So I think we'll get there. It definitely feels right. And, the title change and all the drama that went into it is kind of stirring up the wrestling world a bit. I was listening to a couple of people talk about it and kind of their opinion on, the Bullet Club and Evil and why are they cheating so much and blah, 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 blah. And I'm laughing because I'm like, because that's the point, guys.
Yep.
You're talking about
it. Yeah. That's how it works. I think it's amazing.
It's funny though. I love it though. I mean, just like especially the people who want to weigh in on it and criticize it and whatever, but it's like it's working. Like you said, it's the new work. It's working. So it's like, hey, I don't know. I found it pretty interesting and I've enjoyed the feedback that I've seen.
So as far as your relationship with New Japan, you're doing completely remote work with them at this point, right? Because there's one or two flights out like a week to head to Japan.
Well, yeah, you can't even go to Japan right now. So for anybody who's not a born national, then you can't even get into the country. So if you're Japanese born and say like you come to the States, like Tiger Tori was going back and forth. But he said there's only like one flight a week going from New York, which is crazy, right? New York City to Tokyo, only one flight. But I guess when you land, you go straight to taking a PCR test, and then you got to quarantine for like 2 weeks. So really nobody has been over from the Western side, any of the wrestlers. So we're kind of all just waiting for the borders to kind of open up. And when they do, I saw an article yesterday that seemed like they were going to start letting people who have certain visas in, the kind of visas that we have. So, I mean, there are certain regulations to that too. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen now. And probably it's going to be very limited. So, because think about, all these people, like hundreds of thousands of people who might have gotten stranded outside of Japan that need to get back in. I mean, it's going to be chaos trying to get everybody in. So we'll see.
There's a ton of people. There's a ton of people still stranded and they can't travel back to the country that they need to go to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So for you though, obviously it's kind of difficult going to a gym and training. How has that been for you to kind of stay in shape and stay in ring shape? Is that a struggle at this point for you, or now it's kind of loosened up a little bit?
I mean, now it's just the problem is time. Like just getting it in. The last couple of weeks have just been so busy. But the good thing, in the beginning, for the first 3 months, or the first like 2 months, I was just doing home workouts. But then, we do have a LA dojo that's not so far away, and there's only like 3 or 4 of us that use it, so we can all easily go and use it, like in increments. So whatever time, hey, I just give a call, but like, hey, what time is anybody going to be there at 1? They're like, no. I'm like, great, I'll be there, and I'm going to use the gym, so which is cool. So that's kind of been like a nice little secret gym that nobody else got access to. So that helped in getting ready for the Lions Break shows tremendously. So but this last couple weeks has just been kind of crazy. So it's just been kind of really quick, easy workouts in the house. But I don't mind that because then my wife joins me. She's working from home, and the dogs just watch us, and it's been cool. It's been cool to spend time with her because never home. So she's like, she's
first
like,
time in a long time.
Yeah,
you're home.
Yeah, she's like, this is great. Oh my God, you're home. She's like, oh my God, I can't. When you start traveling again, it's gonna be so weird. I'm like, I know, but I think she's also a little happy that I'll start traveling again because I drive her nuts because I don't know what to do with myself all day.
Listen, I'm in the same boat. I got 2 kids here. I got a 4-year-old and I have a 3-year-old. And I have my brother moved in with us after he got COVID. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks. His ceiling collapsed in the apartment that he was in here in New York City.
Geez.
So he was essentially, they couldn't come and fix it. So he moved in with me. My other brother's living with me now too. My father lives, it's like King of Queens. I mean, I'm the epitome of Queens, New York. My father lives in my basement in my house. It's been, and I'm literally in a construction. We're gutting the whole house while this is happening. The only safe place in my house is my studio at this point. So I get it. My wife wants me out. She wants me gone. She sent me to, she's like, listen, you got to do me a favor. She goes, the kids are fine. The kids are with their grandmother. I just need like a couple hours. Go to the bar. Go have a couple drinks. We have a bunch of rooftops and outdoor dining. And she goes, go. I just need a couple hours to myself where nobody is here. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I get it, but it's great to see people spending time with their families.
I like to be a little more dramatic when I'm like, you don't want to spend time with me. Of course you don't want to spend time with me. But fine, I'm gonna go anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna enjoy my time. I do think it's so.
I'm secretly thinking I gotta get out of here.
I wanted to ask you because you do have a background in production and you obviously know audio engineering and you're phenomenal at it. You're assisting with Talking Shop with the video. I mean, you guys have a video element now, which I absolutely love. When you look at the current product of North American wrestling, right, between Impact and what AEW is doing and what WWE is doing, what do you think of the presentation of the product on TV? Do you, like we were just discussing on the previous show, that I'm having a little bit of a difficult time connecting with the WWE product because it's static. It's always the same feel because of the building that they're in. Do you think this is a long-term effect on how wrestling is going to be presented? Because I know a lot of people are not very happy and they're getting a little disconnected with whatever they're watching because of this.
I think, WWE is just kind of a tough product with no fans in general, because I feel like the fans are so much a part of it. It's built for reactions, so like, guys in the middle of the ring, he's about to say something, promo hits, music hits, and guy, reaction, guy walks out, it's like so heavily based on that. So it's kind of, some things are kind of weird with no fans, and you just kind of gotta like either make them quick or just like drop them completely. So I feel like AEW has done a really good job with it. Also, getting to watch and see all the mistakes that, the good things and the bad things, I should say, that both companies were doing, and Impact as well, was kind of like helpful when you're wrestling in front of no fans, like for the Lions Break shows that we did, because then it was just like, oh, okay, if we just focus on each other, and it's more like presented like UFC, because UFC has been awesome, right, during this whole pandemic, so it's like, oh, if the wrestlers just kind of focus on each other, don't focus on the crowd, don't overly do the don't overly do the camera work where you're like trying to figure out what the right angle is for stuff. It's like, I think it's a little easier, and I think like especially New Japan style is, I think, better suited for something like that with no fans in ring, is what at least obviously, like trying to do like comedy stuff and trying to do really like comedy stuff, and I guess like sometimes the cheating stuff is kind of hard because obviously it's built on reactions, right? So but I mean, you got to stay true to what the characters are doing, though, right? So
I mean,
because they're telling the story. So
aesthetically, I thought the New Japan show felt like a New Japan show. It looked and felt exactly how it should feel, and it was comforting in a way. Watching it, you felt like, okay, wow, this is what I'm used to watching. When I'm watching, actually, you brought up Impact, and I think that's a great thing to talk about. Their presentation on Slammiversary was phenomenal. It was the first time in a long time that I ordered an Impact pay-per-view. I didn't wait till the next day to see the clips and stuff, but I absolutely loved it. I thought the presentation, it looked phenomenal. You know, obviously there's a little hiccup here and there with audio, but that's every show. That happens to everybody, even WWE. But I thought they did a great job at presenting a product with no fans. And it felt closed in. You didn't feel like you were looking and seeking for the reactions. AEW's done a tremendous job with this, with introducing, you know, the wrestlers and the staff in the crowd. WWE was very late to the game with this. And it took them a while to adjust. But again, like you said, it's difficult when you plan, you know, you've been doing this process for 25 years and now you're turning everything upside down and saying, okay, guys, what you've done doesn't work. Fix it. You know, when you're an established business, it's more difficult than an AEW or an Impact, where you really don't have much to lose by trying new experiments. For you, I mean, do you feel that way when you're watching it?
They can't afford to do that though, too. I feel like they can afford to you know, play with some formulas and try to figure out what is best, you know, and they also have, you know, these tremendous, you know, talented people that work there that have so much experience and ideas that they should be able to really be the leader when it comes to, you know, they should, I feel like they should have figured it out first pretty easily, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Rich, did you
It just seems like there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Hold on, go ahead. You broke up for a second.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I just like, it seems like there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Whereas, like, I think me personally, the wrestling I like is very off the cuff, and you know, I think that New Japan style really resonates. You know, like Andrew was saying, like if you have enough of an audience to give you like an ooh and an ah, like when Evil turned on Naito, I think that definitely does it for me. And I'm pretty sure I speak for Andrew, where like, yeah, you feel comforted by something like that, as opposed to like a crotch shot and no crowd, and you're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna change the channel, you know?
Yeah, listen, I think we're in a very and also ratings are competitive, right? Everything, you're competing with everybody. You know, you're no longer New Japan is not competing with WWE, and WWE is not competing just with AEW or Impact. You're competing with eyeballs. I gave an example. I watched half of AEW last night, and then I went down this weird rabbit hole of true crime videos on YouTube for like 3 hours, and I rewatched the remaining half of AEW this morning. That is a difficult thing to do, and especially with even podcasts. You know, Rocky, you guys are doing a tremendous podcast. It's the same concept, right? You got to keep it fresh. You gotta provide something different, or else it just falls apart. For you though, what's the plan with the podcast? I'm very interested in this because I get excited. Listen, we've been doing this for almost 11 years. We've been podcasting here. You know, I was fortunate enough to be able to build a studio and knock on wood, turn a profit with this and make some money. But what's the goal with you guys? Because the video element is cool. I'm positive you guys are going to experiment with different concepts because a bunch of creative guys. Just what can you tell us about it?
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, you know, we've got the main podcast. We're doing our Patreon podcast as well. It's like an extra. We're probably going to continue to do those, but we've been wanting to talk about adding a completely different video aspect and show to it, like just a third show basically. That'll be just for video. So I mean, we kind of want to do that. We're looking for the right partner. Maybe that'll help us to do that. But you know, our production, you know, through Emilio Sparks, he's done a tremendous job with the Countdown to Fucktown video. I mean, that was really dope as hell. Yeah. And the way we put it on YouTube and did it was really, really cool. So yeah, we want to get the YouTube numbers up. I think that's important, but we're definitely going to add a video show eventually. I just don't know when, you know. And then we'll also probably do longer clips of the main podcast show, the audio show. So just to add to it. But yeah, we want to definitely do more content. You know, I worry because I feel like once the world kind of opens up, like, am I going to be able to juggle all this? But we'll do what we can until we get there, and we'll see what things are like, you know.
I always say it's not as difficult as you kind of make it out to be. You know, Rich and I have conceptualized all these different ideas. We do, we have the Patreon and we do a watch along. We do the watch alongs, which shockingly has become very successful. I always find it interesting. Like we're watching a pay-per-view, but we're just fucking around essentially the whole time and having a couple of drinks. And it's that voyeurism aspect that people are very interested in, to see how people interact outside of the bubble, outside of doing a show. It's interesting sometimes what you connect with and what you don't, because we've done stuff that we thought was going to bat 1,000 and we swung and we missed every time.
Right. Yeah, we're also doing like this thing called Boozing with the Boys on our Patreon. So that's like the top level, where every 2 weeks we just turn on the cameras, the three of us, we get everybody in there, and we just start drinking and talking shit, so I mean, that's been cool. Some people have really enjoyed it. There's been some people that think it's fun, like you said, the voyeurism aspect, and they're enjoying us like drinking and talking shit live in front of them and taking people's questions and stuff. And then there's some people who are like, oh, I logged in on there, it's just a bunch of drunk assholes, like, not for me. And then they never came back. So, I mean, it's kind of, so I think it's important that we give a little bit, a little bit of everything to, to our audience, so some people are going to be into that. Some people aren't. So I think the video aspect is going to probably bring us to another level when we get on it,
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I'm gonna present a Q&A. If you guys are in the chat room, you want to ask Rocky a question here on YouTube, you can post it in the chat, and I will ask the question to Rocky, and hopefully he could help you answer what you guys are asking. A lot of people are excited about Nagata and Suzuki. I'm seeing a lot of conversation about that. I forgot that was happening, and I'm very excited again. I got very happy when I saw it in the chat that somebody posted it. What is it? One of my questions is, these guys are legendary names, right? And you've worked with so many of them. Who's been the guy for you that you worked with and you said, my God, this was awesome?
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of those guys. Wow. I guess more recently I can say that this is just kind of somebody who comes to mind was when I worked Rey Mysterio. I just worked him on a little small show in San Diego a couple of years ago, and I always wanted to wrestle Rey. I mean, like, Rey was obviously a huge person I looked up to and kind of paved the way for a guy like me who's 5'6", and I don't know, like that, when I got in there, started rolling around with him, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And damn, this dude's
was it
awesome.
A reaction of, my God, he's as good as I thought he was? Is it that kind of feel like he's, because I've heard from other people that have worked with him that say he's, sometimes TV doesn't do it justice. Seeing him live doesn't. Once you're in the ring with that person, it's like, holy moly, this guy's so good.
I mean, that he's good, though. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I guess, I guess it was, really in my mind, I was kind of thinking like, oh shit, I got to make sure that I'm on the level. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, so I think I kind of went in there like with something to prove to him, maybe a little bit, and be like, oh, hey, don't worry, I'm on your level type thing.
Yeah, don't sleep on me. I got it.
Yeah, don't sleep on me. I'm on your level, So, like, there was a lot of like improv stuff that we did kind of on the fly, and I think that's kind of how he respected it a little bit, and we became pretty cool after. So I think that that's kind of the way. I don't know, it was like I don't know, it's like a weird thing of trying to compete with your idols in a way, you know? But like, listen, not really compete. Yeah.
And what a great moment.
Just show them what's up, Yeah, exactly.
So some of these questions I'm gonna present. If you can answer them, answer them. If you can't, you can't. Obviously, I don't want to pressure you into saying anything.
If you don't want to.
Yeah, if you don't want to. I'm just saying. I don't want to. It's not a gotcha we're doing here. We're not doing a gotcha. Workshoot Wrestling Podcast in the chat room says, do you have to get permission from New Japan to work for the skits on Being the Elite? No, I haven't been on one in a while, but back in the day, no. Okay. I was thinking, when was the last time you were on? I guess they were still working with Japan at that time.
Yeah, maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. Is there any chance that we'll see Impact and New Japan ever work together again? This is from Steven in the chat.
Never say never. I think definitely a lot of things in the world have changed, especially with the current times and situation. Never say never. Never say never.
I got another one here on Facebook. Rocky, what is your opinion of AEW at this moment with their current product?
I'm a fan. I watched it. I watched last week's show, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it.
Last week was a great show. Yeah.
Yeah, last week was it last? Either last week or the week before, where Jericho was out there, he was cutting the promo, and the OJ got spilled on him. He ruined his jacket. I mean, there was some awesome stuff. Jericho is my favorite on there. I think he's just amazing.
What a great story his career has turned into, right? I mean, obviously, this guy faced people told him he wasn't big enough. He wasn't a promo guy, and then he reinvented himself over and over again. And
like 30 times.
30 times. And now, you look at him, and it's amazing to consider to say this, but he has elevated himself. And after leaving WWE, we're talking about, with Japan, New Japan, and AEW, he is in that Flair category as far as a top guy, a veteran that's able to, elevate other talent, younger talent. What he's been
and
able
doesn't
to do.
Lose anything on the way either.
Yeah, and he doesn't lose anything on the way. Him losing or him looking like an idiot only helps the character and the momentum he has. That's amazing to see, because I don't think people 5 years ago would have thought that this Chris Jericho could exist, this version of him. I find that to be so interesting when you look back and you say, okay, he even WWE, the last run he had with the list, it was brilliant, what he was doing, and only he could deliver what he was doing. And it's interesting to see, the constant change in his personality to stay fresh. That's great.
Yeah, when we all go back and like whatever 10, 15 years from now, and we look at the body of work that Chris Jericho did, we're all going to be like, holy shit, Jericho is probably top 5 of all time, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're going to truly look back at it and do like a retrospective of it, it's going to be like, yeah, okay, yeah, he's way up there, way higher than probably people think he should be. Like he needs to be like at the very top.
Rocky, I got a question for you. What was maybe yours or the internal New Japan reaction to DDT and Noah merging? Was it more of a, all right, guys, bring it on, like we need competition, or like, how do you feel about that?
Personally, I mean, I think good for them, I think they're still going to like be separate entities, right? Like they're going to be promoted different promotions, but they're just like they're bringing the back ends together. Is that what it is? Something like that.
Apparently,
I don't really completely understand. Yeah,
it's like
I
united
think it's cool,
but separate kind of thing.
Gotcha. But no, I think it's good. I mean, whatever help. Look, there's right now in Japan, it's still, even though they have shows with fans, I mean, 1/3 capacity, it's difficult. So I think whatever helps the products, and whatever helps, more importantly, the wrestlers and the staff who are putting on the shows and competing in the events, that they if it helps them in any kind of way, or it's beneficial to them, whether it be financially or whatever, then I think I'm for it. I think it's been a really tough year for a lot of wrestlers and a lot of people, and if this means better for DDT and better for Noah, I mean, I got a lot of friends that are in both companies. I'm all for it, but like when you compare it to New Japan, I think they're just all different products. They really just really are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Guys, Talk N Shop A Mania 2 days away from it this Saturday. Yeah, 2 days. Saturday. Yeah, today's Thursday. I keep forgetting what day we're
Today's Thursday, yeah.
I've lost all track of life at this point. I have
I
no
woke
idea
up,
what day
I
it
thought
is.
it was Friday too. I was like, oh no, this pay-per-view's tomorrow.
I have
9
no
a.m.
idea.
I got what am I doing? What am I doing right now?
2 days away this Friday, August 1st at 9 p.m. East. You could buy it on fight.tv, FITE.tv. Also, subscribe to Talking Shop. Patreon. What's the Patreon link? I don't have that on hand.
It's patreon.com/talkinshop, TALKNSHOP.
Excellent. Rocky, always a pleasure having you on, obviously. Anything else going on that I missed here? It's love to have you on again soon.
Every Friday night, we just concluded the Lions Break Collision series on New Japan World. There's a big, huge press conference and announcement coming this Friday night in its spot. And it's basically the future of what's going on for that time slot. I can't talk. It's too early. And it's new. If you've seen the last week's show, it all pertains to New Japan Strong. So we'll all find out what that is tomorrow night.
Excellent. Next time we'll have you on a little later.
We'll
delay it a little bit. I threw the time and I forgot you're on the West Coast, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm waking him up because originally I think Rich, you said, oh, let's have him on at 11. I was like, actually let's do 12. Let's do the time, and then I rememred you're in California, so we'll delay it next time, man. Guys, check it out. Rocky does a great job with those guys. Always love to support it. Check out the pay-per-view again on fight.tv this coming Saturday. Is the main event Chad Too Bad and Sex Ferguson? Is that the main event?
Yeah, Chad Too Bad, Sex Ferguson, Boneyard match.
In a boneyard. Listen, I hope there's some Blue Chew involved. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I have not seen anything. That would have been the best product placement.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan. Yeah.
That was.
But I promise you, it's going to be the wildest, craziest pay-per-view you've ever seen. If you're already a fan of Talking Shop, the podcast, it's just bigger and better and crazier. And we basically got all our friends to show up, so it's pretty cool.
Love it. Love everything about it. Guys, that's it for this week. Follow Rocky on Twitter. Follow Rocky everywhere. We'll have posts on the website to sign up for fight.tv and sign up for the pay-per-view and Talking Shop and everything else. From Rich and myself. We'll see you all next time. Take care.